In this video, I'm giving you my perspective of the top 5 reasons why I live in the Chicago Metro and have for most of my life. With that, you'll be able to determine whether or not the Chicago lifestyle is the right fit for you, your family, and we're getting after it right now. What's happening, everybody? This is Austin Weiss, your go-to home advisor right here in the Chicago Metro. I do a ton of video content all about what it's like to work, eat, live, and play right here in the Chicagoland area. So if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, tap that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and leave me a comment down below if you agree, disagree, or have any questions with anything I'm saying. If you are thinking of making a move anywhere in the Chicago Metro, make sure to reach out to me by phone, text, email, days, nights, weekends, and I would love to connect and help you in any way possible. All right, so I love doing these in the know videos about Chicago because I have the truest perspective of not only living here, but exploring and working in these neighborhoods on a daily basis. Maybe you're wondering about some of these topics or have heard of and want to know the perspective of someone who actually has personal experience. So I will be covering my top 5 reasons why I've chosen to live in the Chicago Metro, and make sure you watch until the very end because I believe number 5 will be the most important, whether determining you want to move here or not. But starting off with number 1 is the major amenities of living in a big city. Chicago is roughly 2.7 million people. It's the 3rd largest city in the country, and the Chicago Metro in its entirety is roughly 9.5 million people, and that creates a ton of opportunity between careers, education, and the most diverse economy in the United States. It has a relatively stable job market, and it's home to 27 Fortune 500 companies, 400 major corporate headquarters. It's big in trade, transportation, utilities, education, healthcare, and technology. And because we all don't work 24/7 at our jobs, there is an abundance of things to do in the Chicago Metro between the live performances at the theater, the professional sports teams, the clubs, the nightlife, and the outdoor activities. There's 8 professional sports teams downtown Chicago, including the Cubs and Sox that own the spring and summer. The United Center features the Blackhawks and the Bulls, and of course Soldier Field downtown Chicago has the Bears, but there's rumors they are moving out to the suburbs to Arlington Heights, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that they build an upscale stadium and eventually Chicago can host a Super Bowl. But between the live performances at the theater, the comedy clubs, the piano bars, the awesome breweries and wineries, that takes us right into Chicago being the #1 food city in the country with some of the most diverse food from all around the world, from fine dining to casual to bar food. Chicago pretty much has it all, and I absolutely love tasting food and the beer because Chicago is a huge beer city. I cannot wait for the street festivals in the summer sprawled throughout the different neighborhoods and block parties in the city, and the various street festivals and downtown areas of the Chicago suburbs. If you want to know more specifics about the different sections of Chicago, you can watch my Chicago Suburbs series linked right here. And of course, if you're an outdoor enthusiast such as I am, there's plenty to do between Lake Michigan. You can go swimming, fishing, boating, or just lay on the beach and catch some rays. The outskirts of the city into the Chicago suburbs, there are an abundance of forest preserves, places to go kayaking, biking, whether it's off-road or trail riding, and of course hiking. And as Chicago is not as flat as some people make it out to be, I would know because I've explored most of the forest preserves, found all the best fishing holes, the best trails for biking and running, and it's a good old time. So if you want to know more about specific spots, leave me a comment down below. Moving on to number 2, the Chicago Metro is extremely easy to get around and to travel from. So let's start downtown Chicago. It is a very walkable city. It's based on a grid system with flat terrain. So if you're coming from an area that's very hilly, you'll love walking around downtown Chicago. There's also a ton of miles of bike lanes and trail systems. I personally love going along the 606 trail and the Lakefront Trail. It's absolutely stunning, especially looking out at Lake Michigan. You have no idea it's freshwater, basically looks like an ocean, and then you have the skyline in the background. Absolutely good time. I highly recommend it. Now, Chicago features the largest train system in the country. The Metro train lines spiderweb out from downtown Chicago, Ogilvy, and Union Station to the various suburbs. So if you want to work, downtown Chicago but live in the Chicago suburbs, I highly recommend taking advantage of the Metro train line. I love taking the Metro downtown Chicago because you don't have to find a parking spot or worry about your car getting dinged because of all the parallel parkers. And then downtown Chicago and the Keller suburbs features the elevated train line system known as the L. So that's a color coordinated system. The last I checked, it was $3 for a one-way ticket, which makes it very, very affordable. And again, I highly recommend taking that instead of having to find a parking spot wherever you want to drive to within the city. When I lived in Oak Park, we lived about 2 blocks south of the Green Line. We loved taking it to the White Sox Stadium or taking it directly into the West Loop area and going to the bars, nightlife, and catching possibly a Cubs game by hopping off of that and going to the Red Line up north in the north part of the city. In addition, if you have to travel for business or you want to get anywhere in the country, we have 2 major airports, so it's anywhere from a 2 to 4 hour flight, no matter where you want to get in the United States, except for Hawaii, of course. But it's very accessible and easy to hop on a flight, get out of town for the winter months, go to warmer weather, and it makes it much easier when you shorten weather here in the Chicago area. Trust me on that one. Also, we have one of the most accessible highway systems, so you can get up to Milwaukee no problem, Indianapolis, St. Louis is about 5 hours away, Nashville and Cincinnati about 7. And those highways typically see most of the traffic during rush hour, but for the most part, it's very easy to hop around to different suburbs or get downtown Chicago, no problem. All right, the number 3 reason why I choose to live in the Chicago Metro is affordability. Now, Chicago is the least expensive major metropolitan area in the United States. It has more affordable real estate than other major cities such as New York City, Boston, Miami, LA, and San Francisco. Now, housing costs will vary depending on which neighborhood you're looking in, but overall, the median home value for owner-occupied homes in the city is just north of $300,000. So it makes it really easy to find a single-family home, condo, something along those lines, and have it not weighed too much down on your bank account. In addition to that, according to salary.com, the Chicago Metro has a 15% higher salary than the national average. So again, your dollars will go further here. And if you want to know more specifics about affordability and what things specifically cost, you can watch my cost of living video linked right here. Number 4, let's talk about it, safety and crime. So crime and violence, in my opinion, is not always accurately portrayed according to the media. I feel like that they put a lot of that stuff on the air or in the news because it's going to gravitate eyeballs and views. But when you visit Chicago, you tend to realize that there are some very safe neighborhoods and there are some others that you really don't even want to ever go in. I will put a link down in the description box below for a neighborhood scout map. It does a color-coordinated map based on how safe neighborhoods are versus other ones. So if you want to formulate your visit or your real estate search based off of that map, you can certainly do so. Overall, Chicago is 7% safer than other major U.S. cities and has a better average crime rate for similar sized cities throughout the country. The Chicago suburbs feature some of the safest areas to raise a family and to live. So I will also put a link down in the description box below. And since we're on the subject of safety, let's talk a little bit about weather, because I have people moving here from different states who are constantly in fear because of forest fires, earthquakes, hurricanes, major animals that might affect their children or their pets, and of course snakes and lizards and anything along those lines. Right off the bat, we don't have any of those dangerous animals. We obviously don't get hurricanes. We're not near an ocean, and we don't have major forest fires here as well. For the weather, we get a few bad months in the winter, but overall it's not as terrible as it was when I was a kid. I don't know if that's because the weather patterns changed or global warming, but we typically only get snow after the new year, and then it's pretty much all melted by the first week of March, and it's sporadic. So we only get about 1 inch or 2 here and there. It's not the major snowstorms where you're going to get 1.5 feet like you hear in other parts of the country. And then the summers are absolutely gorgeous. The city bursts with energy with the rooftop bars, the baseball, and the beaches, and it's an awesome time. If you want to know more specifics about Chicago weather, I'd highly recommend checking out my Chicago weather video, which you can watch right here. Last but certainly not least, the top reason why I choose to live in the Chicago area is the culture and the people. Now, Chicago has the most globally diverse population in the country and is the cultural epicenter of the Midwest. And if you're anything like me, life is all about creating awesome relationships that you can keep and nurture for life. So downtown Chicago, the median age is 35. It's about an even gender split, and 63% of residents are single. So if you're looking to meet someone, Chicago is probably a good option to at least consider and come visit to check out. If you're more into the Chicago suburbs, I would highly recommend watching some of my Chicago suburbs videos, which you can watch linked right here. I did a bunch of different videos all about the best school districts, overall livability, downtown areas, and of course the top places for young professionals in the burbs. But I've created some awesome lifelong relationships here. I met some awesome people through my YouTube channel that have reached out to me, and I was able to help themselves and their families find a great place to live. So if that's you, I would highly recommend you reach out to me by either phone, text, email, days, nights, weekends, and I would love to have a conversation with you and help you in any way possible with your real estate needs. If there's anything that you want to add to this video or that you disagree with, I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. But until next time, I'll catch you guys later.